Hey folks, how you doing? Dave McRae here. Okay, in this video, I'm going to do my best to answer a question that I get asked a lot. And that question is, more or less, I'm paraphrasing, but it's more or less, Dave, what truly frightens us? What truly scares us? Can you recommend a horror movie that is going to scare the ever-loving fucking shit out of me? That's a tough question to answer, and the reason for that is because the horror genre has many subgenres. We all have different life experiences, so what scares me may not scare you, what scares you may not scare me, and yada, yada, yada. So it can become very person-specific. It's all circumstantial. There really isn't a universal sort of genre or thing that scares everybody unequivocally. However, having said that, this is where I tend to lean. Now, many months ago, I don't even think I had 2,000 subscribers. I think it was at the end of last summer or maybe at the beginning of the fall, somewhere around there. I uploaded a video to my channel. Maybe some of you who've been with me for a while remember this. The thumbnail was Jack Nicholson from The Shining, and the caption was something to the effect of what makes a good horror movie. And I went into sort of great detail there of what makes a good horror movie, or a great horror movie, in my opinion. And I touched on this in that video, but I want to take this part and talk about it here, because this is really the creme de la creme. This is the crux of, really, in my opinion, if you want to be truly frightened as a filmmaker, if you want to frighten your audience, as an audience, if you want to be frightened, this is what I think does it. You have to get into the psyche of your audience. The best horror movies, really, are the ones that have a strong psychological component to it. Now, you can look at psychological thrillers where the vast majority of the narrative is very psychological in its presentation, or you can look at slasher movies, paranormal films, supernatural, possession, ghosts, whatever the case is. The best movies of their respective genres, in my opinion, have a strong psychological sort of component to it. It doesn't mean it's an all-around psychological horror film or a thriller, but there's that component to the movie. And the best horror directors and filmmakers also understand this. Because this is what it is. Look, the emotion of fear is universal. It is. We all experience fear the same way in terms of how we experience fear as an emotion. But like I said a few moments ago, what scares you may not scare me. What scares me may not scare you. But we're both going to go to a dark place. So here's the perfect example. Let's say we're all in a movie theater right now. Me, you, whoever's watching, we're all in a movie theater. And if that's thousands of people, that could be a fucking big-ass theater. But anyway, so we're all in the theater together. If we're watching a movie with a strong psychological component, a narrative that has a slow burn, a narrative that's got a lot of mood and atmosphere, and it feels grounded in reality. It doesn't feel really sensational, right? The characters feel genuine and organic. And the antagonist, whatever that antagonist is, whether it's a, shark in a movie like Jaws, whether it's Michael Myers, whether it's Chucky, whether it's a killer, whether it's a ghost, whether it's a demon, whatever your main antagonist is, the best movies keep that antagonist at bay. It's the slow burn. They dangle the carrot. And the reason, well, I don't know if this is the conscious reason why they do it, but would be the reason why I do it, is because then you're going to affect your audience in a similar way. Everybody's going to be on board, because what's going to happen is all of our imaginations are going to start to run wild, right? Now, you might go to a different dark place than me, because it all depends on what you find scary, what I find, scary, our personal life experiences, but we're both going to go to a dark place. They may be different dark places, but we're both going to go to a dark place. So we're all going to experience fear the same way. And if you're dangling that carrot and bringing the audience on this journey together, Susie Q over here is going to be going, what the fuck? But in her mind, it could be completely different from where I am in my mind, but we're both going, holy fuck, because we're both going to our respective deepest, darkest fears. Do you know what I'm saying? We're all afraid of the unknown. And I know that sounds like an overused cliche, but it's very true. There's that fight or flight evolutionary response that is built into us when we feel vulnerable, when we feel uncomfortable, when we're put in positions that we don't have control over. And when you keep your antagonist at bay, the psychological effect that that has on our brains makes us feel, even on an unconscious level, that we don't have control over the situation. What is this? Who is this? What's making that noise? What's going on? I don't feel like I'm in control of this situation. And again, you might go to a very different dark place than me, but we're both going to go to a dark place. And that's how you do your best to affect your audience on more of a universal level as best you can when it comes to horror. You have to put your audience members in the same position as the characters on screen. So the characters aren't quite sure what's going on. You're not quite sure what's going on. So you're living vicariously through the characters on screen and through the experience as if it's happening to you. Oh my God, what would I do, right? Whereas if you reveal the antagonist far too soon without any sort of, mood or atmosphere or, slow burn, then you run the risk of the audience no longer being subjectively involved in the narrative. They're now objectively involved. They know what's going on. They're one step ahead of the characters on screen. So there's this comfort that sets in now. They're comfortable. They know they're safe. They know it's just a movie. I mean, it's just a movie anyway, but I think you know what I'm trying to say, right? So that's really, really important. That's an important part of getting into the psyche of your audience. Now, you could always say, well, yeah, but even with all that in place, the mood, the atmosphere, keeping the antagonist at bay, the slow burn, your audience, you still could get to the third act of the movie for the big reveal, whatever that is, and your audience could still, be disappointed by it. Absolutely. You always run that risk, but your probability goes way up that that's not going to happen when you've affected them psychologically through the vast majority of the movie. They're already in a dark and creepy and fucked up place in their mind that when the big reveal happens, maybe it's not what they were thinking initially, but because you fucked with them for, the vast majority of the movie, again, the probability is high that it will be satisfying for them. Now, again, it's not mutually exclusive to each other, but I'm just saying that if you want to negate as much risk of disappointment as possible, you've got to affect your audience psychologically. That's what's going to scare them. Anyways, folks, my name's Dave McRae. Comment below and let me know your thoughts. If you want to follow me on Facebook, you can at facebook.com/manythingsdavemcrae. That's where you can follow me in the meantime and in between time. When I'm not posting here, that's where I tend to post. As well, if you want to help support the channel each and every month via Patreon, you can. The link is in the description. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts. Comment below and let me know some horror movies that have truly frightened you. I mean, genuinely frightened you. I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.